Pairs were a short-lived post-punk band from Birmingham, England, and you can tell it's England when I pronounce it like that rather than Birmingham. Um, they existed from 1978 to 1983, and they released 2 albums in that time. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the first album by the Au Pairs, and this was my first encounter with them as a band, and therefore with this album. I don't think I've heard any of this before. Let's, as always, try and do a bit of description. Instruments here, we've got quite a simple setup. We've got 2 electric guitars that are very jangly. They're quite high-pitched. They're either strung in an interesting way that makes them quite high, or they're playing high up on the neck. There's a thick, very prominent bass sound, and my notes here say thumpy drums, as if drums were ever not thumpy. But what I mean here is that it's the opposite end of the spectrum from the kind of soul music where the drums are kind of really mellowed out and high-pitched and tinny. This is the other end of the spectrum, the kind of really bassy and thick-sounding drums. I would say I particularly enjoyed the drum playing on this album. It's really solid and good stuff. So it mostly kind of feels quite punky. I guess I would slip in the idea that maybe it's a little new wavy, but I'm not that sold on that idea. There are bits of kind of a feeling of dub in here as well. So there's been, I have noticed, a relationship between punk and post-punk and other kind of punk-related things, and reggae and dub and rocksteady and that kind of thing. And I think with this band, it actually really makes sense because of the setup of the instruments. They've got this thick drums and a thick bass, and then not a lot else, and that kind of gives you that potentially that dub feel quite easily and quite well. There's the vocals are female vocals, sounds occasionally like a bit like Debbie Harry from Blondie in tone, sometimes a bit like I can't remember her name from Bow Wow Wow, which is kind of more talky singing, not really singing, but kind of still not really talking either. And then sometimes in turn quite like Nico from Velvet Underground and Nico, so back in the 60s, just in the kind of delivery of things. I enjoyed it. It's kind of raw, but by that I mean polished, not polished. But not done in a sort of way where it's it's too distracting. It just feels kind of real in that sense. It's got a nice presence, and I enjoyed it. There's one track in particular that's actually quite discordant. It's using quite a lot of, I think it's probably using the wangy bars on the guitars, which is a song called Repetition, which is a cover of a Bowie song about domestic violence. Despite the fact that there's detuning in, I still quite like it. I think there's a good effect that they've used it too. A lot of the songs are about sexual politics of various kinds. There's all sorts of explorations of all sorts of things here. The notable exception is the song Armagh, which is about allegations of rape and abuse of female prisoners in Armagh, which is a town in Northern Ireland, which musically I thought was quite like The Stranglers. Most of the lyrics are pretty direct. There's quite a bit of repetition going on, quite a bit of irony. Again, I'm kind of going to give it to them because I think they've done it in a way that I find quite appealing. So yeah, overall I enjoyed it. It's edgy. It's got a nice sound. It kind of made me think, yeah, this is what punky stuff could be like, and can have a kind of decent feel to it. It's got good energy and simple production. It's not glossed over mistakes that are there, but it's not too full of mistakes so that it's so it's too distracting. There's some pretty good showman and womanship going on here, and I think that the core of why I like this is actually because they've got a strong rhythm section. The bass and the drums are pretty well done, and a lot of what's done really hinges on them being good, providing a solid backbone, and that backbone then just kind of having stuff. Feels a bit like a a washing rack. They're the washing rack, and you drape stuff on them. That's the guitars and the vocals and stuff. So, yeah, I quite liked it. And I'd love to know from you what you think. So don't be shy. Please talk to me through the comments box. That's it from me for now.